Remember, self-knowledge is so essential to succeeding on the carnivore diet. You need to know the kind of person you are, what triggers you, and what works for you. And for me, a lion diet really works. Hello, friends. It's the Carnivore Rabbi. A rabbi is a teacher and source of inspiration, and that's what this channel provides for carnivores of all faiths. Welcome. The lion diet is considered the most extreme form of the carnivore diet. Now, when you're on the lion diet, you eat simply ruminant meat, salt, and drink water. What is ruminant meat? Ruminant meat refers to cows, lambs, and a few other animals that have multiple stomachs, like elk or bison. And it was really popularized by Mikhaila Peterson and Dante Ferrigno. Dante Ferrigno is still committed to the lion diet, has been doing it for more than 3 years. So back in January of this year, which is World Carnivore Month, that was a kind of little push to start it, I decided to try the lion diet for a month. Now, why did I do it? Not because I wasn't thriving on the carnivore diet. It was fantastic. And it's not because I had a specific ailment or problem I needed to address. It was because of the simplicity of it. The idea of eating one thing, which I loved, and not having to think about it, appealed to my desire for clarity and focus. And I was curious, as I think many of you would be, as to how it would make me feel. I wanted to see if, for me, there was any benefit to the lion diet over carnivore more generally, and then I could share what I learned with this community. The verdict? Lion definitely brings the carnivore calm and clarity to another level. It takes time. In fact, I'm just beginning to feel the deeper sense of peacefulness after 6 months on it. There's a new feeling now. It wasn't really that much different until, I'd say, about 3 or 4 weeks ago. Now, the truth is, I wasn't totally consistent with the lion diet. When I was in the hospital for 3 days with a ruptured appendix, I had some eggs. I stayed consistent with carnivore, but I had eggs. And a few times when I didn't have any tallow, I used raw butter, because technically butter is dairy, even though I think it's basically fine for lion, but some people have trouble with butter and use tallow. But other than that, I was pretty strict. Here are a few things I noticed. Beef always tastes good. It's amazing. I simply never get bored or sick of it. And that to me is the best sign that beef has all the nutrients we need for life. This is a point the bear, Owsley Stanley, who I made a video about, he makes this point over and over again in his writings. And it tastes good, and the taste comes not just from the aesthetics, it's about the nutrients. It is about the body getting what it needs from what we eat. That's why it tastes good. That's what makes something taste good. Babies know this. They spit out what they don't need. Vegetables. Remember that beef has everything we need. I'm not a doctor, and individuals may have specific needs. They may have certain deficiencies, so need other foods or supplements. But beef is the superfood of superfoods, and I felt it. Also appreciated some of the taste differences among different cuts of beef and also between beef and lamb. I had a good amount of lamb, and it's fantastic. In fact, some people find lamb even better than beef, often because they need to deal with histamine intolerance. See, since almost all beef is aged, it has histamines, and that creates certain issues in some people. Adam, my friend at Carnivore Today, did an interview with somebody who could only eat fresh lamb because she had incredible histamine intolerance. So she couldn't even eat beef. She could only eat very freshly slaughtered lamb. Thankfully, I don't have that issue. But it's good to know that you can have some variety on the lion diet. I think I had elk once or twice. I got it at Wild Fork. I didn't particularly like it, and it's not very fatty. Number 3, it is much easier to do OMAD, 1 meal a day, on the lion diet. In fact, it just happened organically for me. I didn't intend to go to OMAD. I just didn't start getting hungry until middle of the afternoon. And then I would have a big meal and not feel hungry again until the next day. I then had to start making sure I ate enough during that one meal because I exercised a lot, got a lot of energy, and I really had to make sure I ate a ton during that one meal. And that really enhanced my understanding of my satiety signals. It's really incredible. I'm much more consistent knowing how much I need to eat in a day. It's not an exact science, but my intuition has gotten much better. Even during carnivore, once I'd been a carnivore for a long time, how much I ate would still vary. And it would feel like I'm sometimes eating more than I need to. With the Lion Diet and with one meal a day, it's pretty simple and pretty consistent. Number 4, this is interesting. I lost about 7 pounds from when I started from January, and I feel better. I think it was weight I didn't need to lose, but it was good to lose it. And it happened pretty quickly. I used to think my ideal weight was about 175. I'm 5'11". But I actually feel better at 168, between 168 and 170. I'd like to gain some more muscle, so that would change things. But I used to think, and I thought this at the beginning of the Lion Diet, that I lost weight because Lion automatically means you eat less one meal a day. The few times I had multiple meals in a day actually led me to think this is wrong. Because funny enough, I actually lost weight when I had 2 meals a day. I went down, I think, 164, 165. And so I think I'm actually eating more when I'm eating one meal a day. And perhaps that's because I want to make sure that I have enough food to get through until the next OMAD, next one meal a day. I'm not sure. But I don't think that's true for everybody because I've talked to a few carnivores who don't do one meal a day because they don't want to lose any more weight. The times they have done one meal a day, they've lost too much weight and they don't want to. So I'm not sure. I think that depends on the individual. For me, I find that I'm pretty consistent with what I eat when I'm doing one meal a day. And once in a while, I'm not ultra strict about it. Once in a while, I'll have a snack. I'll have a meal at 2 or 3, and then I'll have a bag of Carnivore crisps at 8 p.m., or I'll have one of the clean beef jerkies that I like. So it's okay, but I prefer one big meal a day, and that really fits well with the Lion Diet. Number 5, I am sleeping more efficiently. And I track it. I use my watch, and more of the time that I'm in bed, I'm asleep. And interestingly, I can adapt my sleep schedule better. For the last, let's say, 10 or 15 years, I was always waking up at 5:30 or 6. Now, there have been several times where I had to take my daughter to some concerts. I would get back late, like 1 in the morning, and I was able to sleep till 8, no problem. That wasn't happening before. Didn't matter when I went to bed, I would wake up at 5:30 or 6. So I'm more adaptable. And here's a broader question. Is the Lion Diet better than carnivore? Should someone aim for it? I think it depends on the person. If you have lingering issues as a carnivore, give it a try and see if it helps. It is the ultimate elimination diet. If you value simplicity like I do, give it a try. If you feel like you can get even more out of being a carnivore, like greater calm, greater peace of mind, give it a try. It's not essential, but it is a stricter approach that can actually deepen your commitment to this way of eating. And as I reach 6 months in, I've been asking myself if I want to continue. And my thinking is I'm going to, but I'm not super strict about it. Basically, if I feel like eating eggs, I'll eat eggs. If I want a little chicken, I'll eat some chicken. But I expect to be about, let's say, 98% beef and fat and salt. It just feels right to me. In fact, today, when I'm recording this, it's the 4th of July, and my family and I were at my parents' house, and my mom made me about 2 pounds of burgers. I ate it all. And then she had made some really good chicken for my dad. And my dad didn't finish the chicken, so I had about 1/4 pound of chicken as my dessert. It felt right. So we can make exceptions. And that's part of the beauty of being deeply enmeshed in the carnivore diet is I trust myself more. I trust my satiety signals more. Dr. Kiltz, who's a great carnivore, somebody I really look up to, he actually even says, go have a piece of cake or go have a drink if you have an old friend in town and you want to get together. That the social part of that makes up for losing the carnivore consistency. Now, I don't want to go that far. I don't trust myself. I think certain foods can trigger a carb addiction, and I don't think I'll feel well. But it is good to know that when you are truly deeply enmeshed in a way of eating and it's become part of you, it's almost as if I'm habituated to it. Then occasionally you can step out and try something differently. Not that I encourage it, not that I really think I'm going to do it very much, if at all. But I trust my body much more than I trusted it when I was eating so many carbs. It's a good feeling. And I think the Lion diet gave me even greater confidence in why this way of eating works and why it works so well for me. Remember, self-knowledge is so essential to succeeding on the carnivore diet. You need to know the kind of person you are, what triggers you, and what works for you. And for me, a Lion diet really works.